So let's go back to hands. And then over the eyes. Nice deep breath. And now let's just do a quick modified face melt. So using the pads of your fingers, just start right at the top and just rub out 2, 3, right in the middle of the forehead, 2, 3, just above the ridge of the eyebrows, 3 times. Go underneath the eyes, so don't pull on the soft skin under the eyes. Go 1, 2, 3, maybe right underneath the top of the lip there and the nose, and go out the bottom of the cheekbones. Right from the edges, corners of the mouth. And from the bottom of the chin, right along the edge. Good. Right from there, make little scissors with your fingers, and you're going to scissor your ears. And kind of move up toward the edge of the ears, and then back down. And then just gently kind of pinch the earlobes. Give them a little tug and a little wiggle. Good. Now make your hands into little claw hands. You're going to start right in the center of your scalp, right the base of the hairline, and you're just going to tap all the way back, and then come on back to the front. And now instead of being right in the midline, move out like an inch, all the way to the back. Go back up, and now you're going to go out like 2 or 3 inches. Kind of right by the temple almost. And then right above the ears. Good. Now, make really soft fists with your hands, so kind of really barely like you're holding on to something. And then you're just going to tap, tap, tap your chest. Now, tilt your head to the right and tap up to the collarbone and down. And then tilt your head to the left and tap up to the collarbone and down. Maybe repeat that. Give yourself a Tarzan feeling here. Good. Take your right hand, just pinch your neck. Give yourself the old Vulcan nerve pinch there. And then the other hand. Just do your arms here. So when you do your arm, and let's see, I'll mirror you guys. So I'll use my left hand, you use your right. And you're going to try to pinch flesh all the way around, all the way down to the elbow. And then when you get to the elbow for the forearm, I want you to press the flesh against the bone. So press the flesh against the bone as you work your way down towards your wrist. And once you get to your wrist, kind of hold onto your wrist and use these 2 fingers or these 2 fingers and just kind of pull out and like pop off the end. And then pull down the hand and pop off. Good. And now let's go to this arm. And again, go for all flesh on this. Get the back, around to the inside. Work your way down, around, till you get to the crook of your elbow. And now press against the bone. So find the flesh and press it against the bone. And once you get down to your wrist, just grab on and pull out a little pop. Good. Now, I'm going to sort of sideways so you can see me. And if you're seated on the floor, you can bend your knees and kind of round your back a little bit. And again, maybe not quite as soft a fist as you used on your chest, maybe a little bit tighter. And you're going to hit that lower back and those kidneys. Good. And then move down to the sides of your hips. And then go down the sides of the thighs. Make your hands into, flatten your hands into little karate chops. And now you're going to use the heel of your hand for the tops of your thighs. You're just going to hit maybe a little bit off the midline, maybe a little more toward the inside. And then you're going to make little cups with your hands and just cup your knees. Good, now you're going to lift your right leg up and make fists with your hands. These can be pretty tight. And you're going to hit those hamstrings. And then open your hands and clap your calves. Good, now just grab your foot, do a little circle. Reverse it. Good, now you're going to take your foot like you're trying to break open a piece of crusty Italian bread. Just kind of smooth it out and feel like you're trying to open that foot up and do it the other way from the bottom. Good, now let's lift your left leg up. And again, tighter fists. And then open your hands, clap the calves. And then ankle circles. And reverse. And then take your foot and like you're trying to break open a big crusty piece of bread. And then try it from the other side. Good. All right, now we'll feel a little bit energized here. Let's move on down to the floor. So lay on down. Bring your knees into your chest, pull them in, let your butt lift up a little bit so you can get a little stretch in your lower back. And even as you're doing this, let your knees go away a little bit so your tailbone kind of settles into the mat. And think about scooping your belly in and up away from the tops of your thighs. And then extend your legs up to the ceiling. And you can start with your head down. Just start lowering a few inches and lifting. Trying to find the spot where, as you're lowering, you're trying to zip up a pair of jeans. At what point can you lower down to before you feel those jeans would start to, your belly would pop out and not let you zip up? Good. And now the next time you lower down to that level, stay there. Curl the head and shoulders up and start pumping your arms vigorously. So you're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Let's do a few more sets. Inhale and exhale. It's a vigorous pumping. It's not like, delicate arms. It's pretty vigorous. One more set. Inhale and exhale. And bring the knees in. Holding on to your knees, rock on up to a seated position. Bend your knees. Put your feet flat on the mat. And think about getting really tall and lifted here. So grab on the front of your shins to help you get lifted, lifted, lifted. Now let's put the hands behind the legs. Keep the lift. And now all you're going to do is curl that lower back. So the whole body isn't collapsing down. You're staying lifted here. The hands go behind. Now just dial the pelvis back and try to curl down so that maybe your arms are straight. And then curl back up. Keep the curl until here. Put the hands in front and lift up again. And again, inhale. And start curling under so the arms go straight. If you don't need the hands, you can go maybe a little further. And then come on back up, rounding, rounding, rounding. And lift tall. Let's do two more. And keep the belly scooped as you come up. And then lift tall and proud. And last one. And come on up. So this time, let's put the feet together. Same concept as if you just have your arms out in front. And as you curl down to the floor, try to fight the urge to just flop down. So as you curl the belly down, keep scooping it like you're zipping up those pants, and try to get it down without flopping. Good. And let's stretch the legs straight. And now let's try a few roll-ups. So the roll-up is tough. It's one of the harder exercises in the Pilates mat series. If you're near your couch or something, you maybe want to hook your feet underneath it, that's fine as well. But you're going to try to avoid the jerking motion. So when you get to that sticky spot, which for me is right there, and you got to try to push through it. And then curl down again with control. So take a second, bring the arms back up with the ears. Feel your ribs kind of open up a little bit. Then as the arms come up, close the ribs so the abs are engaged. Take an inhale, curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Exhale as you curl up and over and stretch forward. And again, keep that curl the whole way down until you get to the mat. Let's do 2 more. Put the arms back, you want to get a little stretch there. But as the arms come up, the ribs close, the belly zips in and up. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up, and round. And back down. One more time. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Arms up. Curl on up. Good, and then just continue on down to the mat. Bring your right knee into your chest. Give it a little squeeze. Extend it up to the ceiling. Try to get it as straight as you can. It's kind of tough hands there, but feel like as straight as you can. And stretch, stretch, stretch. So the next exercise is leg circles. It's kind of a misnomer. It's not really about moving this right leg. It's about not moving the whole left side of the body. So I'm going to put my arms down here to help stabilize myself. I'm going to turn that thigh out a little bit. You pull the leg across the body towards your left shoulder, down to the floor, up and around. And then hold it at the top and go out and scoop around and up. And again, maybe that left foot is flexed or pointed, but it's not moving. So if you see your foot doing this, you're probably not stabilizing the hip. And bring the knee into the chest, give it a little squeeze, slide it down the mat. And bring the left knee into your chest. Extend it straight, getting it straight as you can, so you might have to let it move away from you a little bit. Notice that this side is a tighter side. And again, now we're going to try to not move this right side of the body with the leg circles. Let's turn that thigh out. The arms go down, pull the leg across your body, up, down, and around, across. So make the circle big as long as you're not moving that right side of your body. One more in this direction. And reverse. And bring the knee in. And holding on to that knee, you can rock that up to a seated position. All right, we're going to move into rolling like a ball. So rolling like a ball is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. The challenge is remaining in a ball-like shape and not turning into a box-like shape. So let me kind of talk you through what that would look like. So move on down toward the end of your mat. You'll go heels together, toes apart. The knees are about armpit width. You're going to wrap your arms around so that they're just above the ankles, kind of on the shin bones there. And again, remember that sense of pulling the belly away from the tops of the thighs. Pull the feet back an inch, scoop your belly. Pull it back an inch, scoop that. You're starting to round back now. And then you're going to try to get to the point where you can hold that. Now the goal is to keep this shape as you roll back the tips of the shoulder blade up and down without touching your feet. Now, what people do, watch my legs. When they roll down, they collapse their legs into their chest, and now their back is flat, so they just end up doing this. Okay? So if it's hard for you, and it is for a lot of people, press your legs into your hands on the way down and on the way up. So that helps you keep that shape. One more. Good, and then just gently roll onto your back. for the stomach series. So there are 5 exercises in the stomach series, and the first one is called single leg stretch. So you curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. You'll bring your right knee towards your nose and send your left leg away. So you're going to, give yourself some good height here. Your shoulder blades are off the mat. And switch, and switch, and switch. Let's do 3 more sets. 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Bring your knees in, lower down. Turn your head side to side in case it's going into your neck or throat a little bit. And then the next exercise is double leg stretch. So it's basically starting from a very curled up position, kind of opening up and then closing back up again. So here's what it looks like. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders, knees are into your chest, and you're pretty tight little ball here. Again, scooping your belly away from the tops of your thighs. The arms go up to the ceiling, the legs go out. So you kind of open up, and the arms come around. The goal on this is to not move the upper body back to the mat. So you're not doing this. You're keeping the chest up. 2 more. Bring your knees in, lower down. All right, extend your legs up to the ceiling for the next exercise, which is the scissors. So get the legs as straight as you can. And then if you can, see how my legs are kind of tilted back toward me a little bit, my butt's lifting up. I'm going to try to get a more neutral pelvis, tighten up the abs, get the legs kind of straight up and down. And then if you can, if you can't, then, move the leg a little closer. We try to curl up and try to grab that right leg, pull it towards you, pull, pull while the other leg goes down. And you can flex or point, doesn't really matter. And pull, 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 pull. Try not to grab the hand, try not to grab the leg until it's right as close as you can get it. Do 3 more sets. Bring your knees in, lower down. So the next exercise in the stomach series, number 4 or 5 in the stomach series, is called the lower lift. It's really not so much about the lowering as much as it is about kind of lengthening away. So it's not so much about trying to get the legs all the way down to the floor and up, but how long can you keep them flexed as if your feet are holding up the ceiling? So let's curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. The legs are straight up. You can be in parallel or you can do a little turnout with the heels together, toes apart. And then you're going to try to get yourself lifted here. The hands can go behind the head or they can go right here, whichever works for you. And now try to slide your feet across the ceiling and then back up. So it's really moving about 5 or 6 inches. 3 more. And bring your knees in, lower down. All right, we are on the home stretch. So the final exercise in the stomach series, the Pilates stomach series, is called the crisscross. It very much looks like the bicycle abs that you see in a lot of exercise regimens, but we're going to do it a little bit more specific. It's going to be a little bit more detailed. Insofar as the goal is that both shoulder blades stay off the mat. It's super hard. Most people can't do it, so don't panic if you can't. But that's the goal you're going for. So it's not so much rolling across your shoulder blades like this and rolling them side to side as it is trying to get lifted up, keeping the shoulder blades off. So I'm not really even going to the knee per se. I'm really just trying to stay lifted and twisting around my center. So I bring the knees at the tabletop. I like to grab the back of the legs, give myself a little boost to get lifted here. And then the hands go behind the head, and you're gonna twist and twist. So don't go down to the floor in between. Think about your nose reaching forward as you twist, not going back to the floor. And 2 more sets. And bring it all in. Good, drop your feet to the floor. Let's take a second and traction your necks. in case that strain gets in the neck a little bit with the ab work. So lace your fingers behind your neck so that the edge of your pinky is right along that ridge in the back of your skull. So your head can stay right down on the ground. You're just going to kind of gently pull the head so that the chin will drop toward your chest, the back of the neck will lengthen. And you might even feel a stretch down into the middle of your shoulder blades if you have a lot of strain in your neck. And relax your jaw, take a couple deep breaths here. Good, now extend your legs long down the mat. Bring the arms up to the ceiling. Take an inhale. And then curl the head, neck, and shoulders up and curl up to seated position. Nice. Let's open your legs and do a little spine stretch forward. So the legs don't need to be super wide. Maybe a little bit wider than the edge of your mat, maybe spread outside the corners of your mat. And again, you want to get really tall and lifted. Think back to when we were here before. You were really right on top of those sits bones, really tall and lifted. You're going to do that same thing with the arms here. So the goal on this is not to stretch forward. It's not so much about bringing the belly button onto the floor or bringing the chest onto the floor. It's about creating a rounded back for an ab workout and for a stretching of the back. So get tall and lifted here. And as you inhale, feel your rib cage kind of cinch in, your waist cinch in. You're getting really lifted here. And as you exhale, drop your chin to the chest. You're going to reach forward and round your back. So your throat stays over your pubic bone. You're trying to round this, not so much this. And then lift, 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 lift up. I like a good flexed foot on this one. I feel like it really keeps the stretch going in the back of the leg as well. Big inhale. Drop the chin. Exhale. Reach forward, forward, forward. And then lift, lift, lift. So the shoulders can move laterally, but they shouldn't move up to the ears, okay? So they can stretch the shoulder blades out, get a stretch there, and reach forward, but don't let it hunch up to the ears. Let's do two more. Get nice and tall and lifted with the inhale, cinch the waist. Drop the chin, exhaling, 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 rounding that back, flexing the feet, and then come on back, up, lift, 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 lift. Fill with air. Drop the chin, exhale it all out. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Keep curling the belly like you're going over a big medicine ball. And then lift back up. Good. Let's do open leg rocker, which is basically a different version of rolling like a ball. The challenge with open leg rocker is that the legs are going to try to pull you up. When you do rolling like a ball, it's hard to get up from the position from the floor. In this case, it'll be harder to stop yourself. So let's get into the shape. So very similarly to when we started earlier, when we were doing this kind of roll back thing, you're going to try to roll back a little bit. And let's bring the legs into kind of a 90-degree bend here, like you have two champagne glasses on your shins. But you still have that same rounded back. And you push your legs into your hands, it'll help round your back. And then you're going to try to go back to the tips of the shoulder blade, come and stop. Don't let the champagne fall off. And again, roll back, get up and balance. Couple more. If you've done this before and you want to try to go for the full show, you can go with the legs all the way open. Woo! Try to let the weight of the legs pull you down. One more time. Good. And then close the legs, bend the knees, put the feet down on the floor. Good. Let's do saw, I think. So again, your feet are going to be open about the width of your mat. And let's just start, we'll kind of get a sense of how the body moves and what gets involved, then we'll kind of isolate it. So let's get nice and tall and lifted here. Again, back is flat. And just start kind of Swinging your arms a little bit. And notice, you can see my feet, and my mat is coming with it, is as I'm twisting, I'm twisting from not just my waist, I'm twisting from my hips, right? As I twist, I'm letting that leg pull back on both sides. Let's try to slow it down and take it out of the hips. So it's just in the waist. So now you don't have this action with the feet. Good, now twist toward me. And you're gonna reach down, grab the outside of that leg and feel like you're pushing open a heavy curtain behind you. And get a nice stretch there. Keep curl up facing me, then go back to center. Inhale, twist away from the camera. Reach, grab the outside of that leg, and then push back that heavy curtain. Get a nice stretch through your shoulder and side. Curl up, facing away. Come on back to center. Let's do a few more sets. Twist and reach. Push. So don't let that arm fling behind you though. Really purposely push it. Bring the rib cage with you. And then up and center and twist and reach. And lift. One more set. Twist. Keep it out in the waist and out of the hips. Reach, reach, reach. Up. And inhale, exhale, push the curtain back. Up. And good. Excellent. Let's flip onto your bellies. And let's set your hand over hand and set your forehead down on your hands. Now I'm not going to be able to do this with you. I'm going to have to talk you through it. Well, somehow here. So get the back of your neck nice and long. Your hands are resting on your head's resting on your hands. And I want you to pretend like you're wearing a big belt buckle, okay? And I want you to scoop your belly so that your belt buckle lifts up off the ground. So you're trying to make sure your belt buckle doesn't scratch on the ground. And then relax back into the floor. Your legs can be just kind of straight behind you. You're not really using them right now. And then scoop your belly and lift that belt buckle off the ground again. Notice how your back feels like it's flattening out a little bit. And then relax into the floor again. Now let's add a little extension. So the thing with extension is it's not about coming up so much as it is about trying to reach away. So scoop your belly so you have that pocket of air, float the elbows up, and then try to float the head forward, like you're diving forward, and then lower down. You don't need to come way up here like this, because that's just going to crunch your lower back. So again, scoop your belly. You're trying to keep that pocket of air the whole time. Scoop the belly, float the elbows up, and then lift the head and chest up, and then lower down. Do that one more time. So relax your belly into the floor. Check to see how much you're squeezing your butt cheeks when you do this. See if you can keep it in your belly. If you squeeze your butt cheeks too much, your belly tends to try to give up and you end up pushing your belly back into the floor. So scoop your belly, float your elbows up, and then feel like you're floating your head forward, lifting the head maybe an inch or so of the chest off, and lower down. Good. And come up onto your forearms. Your arms can be kind of right out in front of you. Your elbows are kind of right underneath your shoulders. And you can act this, or you can put your hands on the mat, kind of whatever you want. But you do want to have a sensation like you're pulling that mat back, right? You're pulling, you're trying to pull yourself forward like you're stuck in quicksand. Your legs are straight behind you. Scoop the belly up. Again, you have that belt buckle on, but this should be pretty easy, right? Because you're already lifted, so the belt buckle should be pretty easy to keep off the floor. You're going to slowly bend. Now notice that your pubic bone is on the floor, your hips are on the floor. Bend your right knee, keeping the hip bone down so you're not popping the butt up here. So keep it down. Try to get it as close to your butt as you can. And now try to pull it an inch closer. Hamstring, hello. And then try with the left leg. Bring it in, keeping the left hip down, and then try to pull it in an inch closer. And float it down. Let's do it slow like that one more time. Keep pulling your arms forward. The upper body's still active. Bend in really close, really close, really close. And then kick in 2 more times. And then to the left. And try to kick, kick in. Good. Now let's do it a little faster. You're gonna kick, kick, and down. Kick, kick, and down. Kick, kick. But you're still going for that sense of trying to get it as close as you can and then pull it in. So it's not like bam, bam. It's bam, bam, ow. And again, if you're getting that right to the edge of a cramp, you're doing it right. One more set. And lower yourself down. Let's put all 10 toes on the floor. You're kind of pigeon-toed a little bit. And then just rock your hips side to side. Open up the back of that pelvis there, that sacrum. Just kind of rock side to side. Good, good, good. Now come on up onto all fours. And let's go into kind of a flat back. So we're going to do a practice for something here, and then we're going to do a stretch. So the thing I want to practice is get yourself really flat, like you are a coffee table. Your hands are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips. And all I want you to do is try to squeeze your shoulder blades together. So nothing else changes. Just squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then press them apart. Squeeze them together. Press them apart. Right? These are called serratus push-ups. This is the prep for the serratus push-ups. So the most common mistakes, let's see how long the back of the neck stays here. Keep that neck long. Try to avoid the inclination to go stoop your chin down and kink the back of the neck. Also try to avoid, as the shoulders press together, sticking your butt up and arching your lower back. So keep that flatness there. Couple more. And then we'll try that in a full push-up position in a minute. But let's do a quick stretch here. So push your hands into the floor like you're trying to shove the mat away, arch up your back like an angry cat, and breathe into that upper back. As much air as you can get in. Now lift your head up. Try to press your breastbone in front of your biceps. So it's not so much about arching this lower back, it's about trying to arch that upper back, kind of push that forward as you exhale. And again, arch up, push, push, push the floor away, and then feel like you're pulling your hands back towards you as you try to push your breastbone forward. One more time, push the floor away. And then exhale, exhale, exhale. Good, walk your hands forward a few inches. And keeping your head up for a second, let's drop back into child's pose. Drop your butt back as far as you can, then drop your head. Press your palms into the floor if you need a little bit more of a shoulder stretch. Good, and then lift your head up and let's walk your hands back out, back up into all fours. Now, if your wrists are not great, if your wrists are getting a little questionable, by all means go to your elbows. But if you can stay up on your hands, press your right leg back. So you now check your alignment here, and then press the other leg back. So now you have a nice straight, and now we're going to do those serratus push-ups. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, pull up. It's a lot easier here to let that belly drop. Can you feel how much harder it is when you're actually holding yourself up? So scoop that belly, couple more. Keep scooping the belly, keep the back of the neck long. Good, and drop down. Walk the hands forward, drop your butt down first, then drop your head for a little child's pose. Press your bottom into your heels. Scoop your belly away from the top of your thighs, so round your back, and try to round yourself up without using your hands to push yourself up. Good, good, good. Now, let's come back onto your bottom. And let's do a little spine twist. So, spine twist is similar to saw. It's actually a little easier. But the concept is the same, except the legs are together. So when you're doing that twisting, see how the feet are sliding back and forth? We're going to move it up from the hips to the waist. So what I want you to try to do with the arms is keep them straight out to your side. So start by bending your arms and putting them right there. Get nice and tall and lifted, and try to twist toward me, and then you can open the arms, right? So the arms aren't way back here. So just have them just where they open up here, and then back to center. And twist in the waist, and open, and really try to bring that rib cage around the corner, and back to center, a couple more. You can leave the arms here if you like, or you can go here, just as long as you twist, you remember you're not yanking the arm behind you. Really try to push that opposite rib cage around the corner, back to center, and twist. And back to center. Good. Let's do one rowing, I think. So let's do the prep for this. So bring your arms up to a 90-degree angle, and your back is really straight. You're really tall and lifted. And I want you to pretend like you're leaning up against a board, and somebody just tilts the board back. And then come on back up. So you're not collapsing. You're staying lifted against that board. It's just getting pushed back. Pull back, and then up. Try to find that shaky spot, and then come up. One more. And up, good. Now this time we're going to stay back at that shaky spot and make it a smidge harder. So from here, tilt back, tighten up your belly like crazy, stretch the arms up alongside the ears, and lift up out of the waist. So not the shoulders, lift up out of the waist. Try to reach past your toes. Drag your knuckles across the floor. Try to pinch your elbows behind you, and then swing the arms back up to a 90-degree angle. So I'll get up against that imaginary board again, and tilt back. Lift the arms up, rounding the back. Drag the knuckles back. Press the elbows behind you, and up one more time. Tilt back. Tighten up the abs. Woo! Up and over. Press and up. Nice, you guys. Let's do some side work. So, if you can, have your mat facing so that you're facing onto the camera. We'll just kind of do a flip-flop side to side. So let's start on your left side. You're going to line yourself up with the edge of your mat so that you have like an inch behind your elbow, an inch behind your shoulder, an inch behind your butt. And once you're in that nice long line, bring your feet forward so you're kind of in a big V here. And the first exercise in the leg series is called front and back. So the leg lifts up about hip height. Your hips aren't up here, so bring them about hip height. And let's point as you go front, front, and back. Front, front, flex back. Now, the real challenge on this is not rocking and rolling. So as you kick forward, the upper body isn't moving. You shouldn't have a lot of and your back arching and you're doing all this, or the shoulder is rolling around. You want to have like a hot cup of coffee on that ankle. Kick forward, pull back. So as that leg pulls back, I'm pushing that hip forward so I stay stacked. Kick, back. One more. I'm going to bring the leg forward. So let's start in parallel here. The leg starts about hip height. Push that heel as if there's a quarter under your heel and you're trying to hold it against the wall. Good. Now keep the quarter against the wall. Internally rotate, your toes go to the floor. Externally rotate, your toes go toward the ceiling. Back to parallel. Lift up a few inches. Internally rotate, externally rotate, parallel. Lift up a few inches. Internally rotate, externally rotate, parallel. Try not to turn just at the ankle. Try to turn at the leg. One more. Up, internally rotate, externally rotate, parallel. Push through the heel so that right heel comes down farther, way farther than your left heel. See how much farther it's over? And relax for a second. Good. The next exercise is heel circles. It's a bit of a misnomer. Again, a lot of the work is not in the leg. I mean, you know, you have to move the leg, but it's really about holding those lower abs in tight so that the circle is smooth, that it's not jerky, herky, all over the place. So tighten up your belly. Almost want to feel like you have a little mouse house under here. Lift the leg up and just start little heel circles. 2, 3, 4, 5, and reverse. Tighten up the belly so they're nice, smooth circles. 3, 4, 5, and set the leg down. Draw your knees towards you into a 90-degree angle so your shins are parallel with the front of your mat. Your heels will stay glued together, float your heels up. Now again, that hip is staying stacked. It's not falling back here. So try to open like a clamshell and close. Open and close. So you're not rolling back to the ceiling. You're pushing that hip forward. Couple more. And now hold it open and pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lower down. And let's flip over to the other side. So lay on down on your right side now. You have a little bit of mat behind you, your elbow, your shoulder, your hips. And once you're long here, pull the legs forward. You can actually put that left hand down on the floor and lean into it a little bit. That'll help keep those hips stacked. Lift the leg up hip height. And let's do front and back. So front, front, and back. You're not rolling back with the leg. And front, front, and back. When the leg goes back, lean into that front hand. Don't let you drift back. If you want to be fancy, you can point on the way forward and flex on the way back. And we're so fancy here. One more after this. And bring it down for a second. Good, so the heels are both flexed. Lift the top leg up. Push that heel away like you're holding a quarter against the wall. Internally rotate the whole leg, so it's not just the ankle. And then externally rotate, and then parallel. Lift it up a few inches. Internally rotate, externally rotate, parallel. Internally rotate, externally rotate, parallel. Last one, get it as high as you can there in parallel. Turn it in, turn it out, parallel. Push through the heel. Push, 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 push. See that left heel's coming down way over top of my right. And relax for a second. And now let's do heel circles. So you're going to tighten up that lower ab. Lift the leg up, and you're going to go forward, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw your knees towards you to a 90-degree angle. Shins are parallel in front of the mat. Heels stay together, float them up a little bit. And as you open, feel like you're pushing that left hip forward and close. So it's not rolling back. Two more regular ones. And then hold it open and pulse it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Roll onto your back. Let's do a figure 4 stretch. So put your right ankle onto your left knee. You can put your left hand on your hip and your right hand on your knee and kind of push them away from each other here. If you want to go a little deeper, you can pull that leg in. If you do that, tilt a little bit to your left so that you get a little bit of a deeper stretch for your right butt cheek. And then let's change sides. If you want to pull that leg in, go for it. Roll a little bit to your right if you do that. And then uncross your legs. And let's finish with teaser. So let's start with legs are at about a 3/4 bend. And let's keep the legs down for the first 1 or 2 here. So the arms come up level with the ears. You curl the head, neck, and shoulders up and float on up. So you're just behind your sacrum. You're not up on top of your sits bones. You're back behind them. And then lower down. One more like that. Float on up. And right from here, keep the legs pinned together to stretch the right leg straight. And lower down. Let's float up to that right leg now. Float up, drop the right, lift the left, float away, and then float up to the left foot, stretch the right foot alongside it, hold your teaser there. Everything slowly comes down together. Let's do one from the floor. Big inhale, exhale, curl on up. And lower down. Bring your knees into your chest. And we're rocking up to a seated position. And my friends, you are done. Thank you for sharing your time with me.